Dear journalists, we continue our working day in the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center, and we'll talk about the Rada Report challenge. Public invites parliamentarians to report on its activities, and the speakers are Tymofiy Mylovanov, professor at the University of Pittsburgh, co-founder and member of the editorial board at VoxUkraine, Taras Shevchenko, director of Media Law Institute, coordinator of the social movement CHESNO, Honest, and Andriy Krugliashov, coordinator of the social movement CHESNO, NGO Centre UA. The floor is yours. Good morning. I am Tymofiy Mylovanov. I am a co-founder of VoxUkraine, and also I am a professor of the game theory at the University of Pittsburgh. I'd like to talk about the idea of Rada Report Challenge, which is a project that, together with the CHESNO Honest movement, we try to implement. And the idea is that we ask the MPs to write for the public about their actions, about what they are actually doing in the parliament, so that a average person, a voter, could go to the site and just see what their MP or the MP that they are interested in have done during the parliamentary session, which laws they supported, which requests they filed. We think that this is very, very important because the political, we have a political and economic crisis today, and if we come back to the Maidan, then the crisis happened because average citizens did not have an opportunity to influence the authorities. Authorities were closed, and all the issues were solved in favor of a very small elite, and ordinary citizens of Ukraine did not have access or any influence on the authorities. This has to be changed. And for this, the parliament has to become open, because the parliament stays closed as they decide all the issues behind closed doors. Even if they do good things in this parliament, the people are not going to trust them, and political crises are going to follow one another. We have the slide here. This is the first part of results of Rada Report Challenge before the month of April this year. We started this past January, and the idea belonged to Hanna Hopko, who addressed us and said, we want the parliament to be open. I am open. Our faction is open, and we want to prove this, that really new people came to the parliament, and we want to show that we are not hiding. And we can see this as we see the percentage of factions that filed the reports. Samopomich, 75% of Samopomich have filed their reports. Second place is occupied by Batkivshina, and the Radical Party of Oleg Lyashko has filed only 5%. There's a rumor that there are only 70 normal people in the parliament, and the rest are imbeciles. I heard this from journalists. I don't know, but 54 people have reported to us, so I don't know how many normal people are there in the parliament, but 54 of them do file reports. Thank you very much. I am Andriy Krugliashov, coordinator of the public movement CHESNO. What is the sense of reporting? The MPs have to understand the simple truth. If voters do not know what MPs are doing, then they, in a better case, think that they do nothing, and in a worst case, they think that they are doing something bad. So it's better to build a reputation which is based on real actions. Someone thinks that the site of the parliament is enough, because there you can see the draft laws that were registered and also requests. But there's another important function of MPs that they forget about, the representative function. And it is due to the movement CHESNO, the MPs who do work with voters directly can really prove that they are doing this very important and useful work. Together with VoxUkraine, the public movement CHESNO are launching another wave, but we now have 19 MPs who have reported and they filed in their filled blanks. I want to name them: Yuri Bublik, Andriy Voratursky, Natalia Vasilova, Yuri Voyznyuk, Victoria Voitsitska, Ruslan Demchak, blah, blah, blah. And now you have he enumerates the names of MPs who filed their reports. So, most of the MPs of those MPs are from the bloc of Petro Poroshenko, but knowing how actively Samopomich and other parties took part last time, we expect even better results. So my request to all the MPs is to check your official email addresses at rada.gov.ua. There you will see the form that you can fill in, and in this way report to your voters and fellow citizens about your work. And now I give the floor to Taras Shevchenko, who is our legal partner.
Thank you, Taras Shevchenko, Institute of Media Pravo, CHESNO movement. I am sure that the public moves much faster than everyone else, and the public suggested this instrument for reporting to politicians, to MPs. That's quite demonstrative. That had to be a requirement of the law, and we hope that we will have that. But we would like to announce today that the position of the public and the desire of the citizens is above the law, and the MPs are to report to their citizens if they believe that they live now in a different country than the country that we had 2 years ago. My first place of work was an assistant to MP. In 94-95, we were writing annual report of the MP. That was the requirement of the law. When the political model was changed from majoritarian to party lists, then the MP was then this institution of reporting was cancelled. Now it is very important. The state has changed, the principles have changed, and it is very important for all the MPs to report about their activities, not just to their constituency, but to all the citizens of Ukraine, especially for the money they receive, because it is a unique situation when the state gives money for certain activity and the state does not require any report. Neither the Verkhovna Rada requests the report from the MP, neither the law requires that. Only the public is at the front line and puts bigger requirements. The Ruch CHESNO was talking about that criteria a long time ago. They have to report for the money that the state pays to them for their activity as the members of parliament. The members of parliament are to be the first ones who are to report to people, and they have to provide detailed reports for the money that they receive. In Great Britain, this is a very clear system which has become transparent for the citizens, and we can recollect that led to several political scandals when they found out how the money was spent. But the main message is not to scare with these reports, but first of all, this is a high level of responsibility which Ukrainian MPs have to demonstrate. and the fact that local elections are getting closer, that would also lead to politicians to start thinking about their citizens. And we hope that we will see more reports that VoxUkraine and CHESNO are offering together. If you have any questions, if you want to clarify something, you're welcome. If not, then okay, one question. Please clarify what exactly you are requesting to include into the report. Is there some difference between the first stage and the second stage of reporting of Rada Report Challenge, and how your form is different from the one which is on the website of the Verkhovna Rada? On the website of the Verkhovna Rada, there's no information about legislative activity, but there's nothing about reporting about their communication with the voters, the number of meetings they had, the activities of their reception office. And thanks to Rada Report Challenge, we would like to fill in that gap, and so that those MPs who do not forget about people who elected them, give them the chance to demonstrate what they are doing. I would like to add, even if there is some information on the website, it is to be collected manually. Very often it's not very real. It's very formal, like a person could be in the committee, but in fact the person is just registered in the committee but does not attend the meetings of the committee. And we are trying to make this information more accessible to people, first thing. Then there are two types of information we collect. We are trying to quantify what we can so that we have numbers. Certain information which we can collect from websites, we will automatically be putting into this form so that people do not do the same work again. They will view this information, they will confirm whether the information is correct, and they can add what is missing there. For example, if they are for some political position, or if they had some important meetings, or maybe they were doing something abroad, we give them the chance to put it all together. Basically, there are two significant functions. First, the MP confirms that that is the information which is fair information, and he also can add. He says that is what I have done, so that they do not say, well, I've done that and that and that. Basically, and the MP can put it in. In half a year, he will not be able to say that I was voting for certain law. Liga Business Inform, could you tell us more about what is in the reports? Will you analyze them? What are the results of the analysis? If we take the first period, January, April, we're trying to understand how to make this information useful so that it becomes a value. Today, this information, basically, we can say whether the person is ready to contact or not. It is important. We'll be doing ratings of the MPs before the local elections and after. And in VoxUkraine and CHESNO, we have some other data on MPs. We will put that all together, and we will have this openness, and we are trying to have those quantitative characteristics. VoxUkraine will see then which draft laws are passed in certain committees, which committees are more active, so which are not doing anything, and we have an assessment to be able to say which committees are doing some good things, which are not. And then it could be tied up to a certain MP. If the MP says, I was for that draft or I was for these amendments, he will be going up in the rating. We will be working on having in a year, in 2 years and 5 years to so that every MP has some public record, so that we understand this is the person who no one knows, or this is the person that for 5 years have been fighting for something. Here are successes, here are some failures. And that is an instrument to create this public record. That is our big agenda. In fact, our big objective is to create the political memory in Ukraine, because the year passed, but the research of NDI shows that 30% of our citizens do not remember the promises of the authorities, and in politics the real affairs lead to results, not the promises. And our objective is to create the form which help people to make a decision, not just looking whether they like or dislike, but based on an information they would be able to compare the work of the MP with the expectations of a voter. The person who delegates the right to define what laws will be passed, is there some time frame when we will see, or some deadline, when we will see the first rating? We do have the rating, but we do not show it to anyone. I believe before the local elections you will see that.
Дякую. Наступне запитання.
UCMC, I have an emotional question. You mentioned that very few people report about their activities, but there are many young people, many people who we know. I'm interested whether you talk to those who do not give reports. Why don't they give reports? What do they say? Why don't they do that? I can tell you, we had a dialogue with many MPs, and we agreed to some compromise that the reporting is not monthly but quarterly, not to follow the comments made by the MP. In the process of dialogue, we agreed to a compromise, and in the result, the MPs started reporting. The most important thing is how the journalists will be able to cover these reports. This should become something desirable, something cool, something fashionable, because MPs, if this is so, then MPs will react to that. Now they think maybe no one's interested in that, but thanks to you, thanks to other voters, we'll be able to make it a requirement of not just the CHESNO, VoxUkraine, or Institute of Law, but of Media Law Institute, but then those who do not submit the reports will feel uncomfortable. I would like to comment also. For example, if I were MP and I don't understand, why should I fill it in? For example, tomorrow, well, I don't read the laws, but maybe I will read something so that there's no scandal in the Facebook, maybe 10. And here some guys send me some report to fill it in. If I have an assistant that has to do something, then such assistant can do it. Or maybe I don't read the mail. VoxUkraine does not answer all, does not reply all the emails. To expect that MPs will reply to all emails would be wrong. So I believe it will take some time until they understand how important, how serious it is. Much will depend on us. If we use this information and the voters see that there is some benefit in this information, people will answer today the world is internet. This does not disappear. In 5 years we will see that there are 15 or 20 persons. Could you show the next slide? For example, there are people who work on their public position. They, for example, these 6 most active MPs, we may like them or we may not like them, but they are professional politicians of a new type. They work on their public image, they are open, they respond. Maybe I will not vote for some of them, but they are professional. And this is just 1%, but this cannot be taken as before. You cannot agree with an oligarch and you have become a project, and you are on 1+1, on 112, on Inter TV channel, you become famous. But today, internet does not allow that. It will be more and more difficult to do that, because you will be able to Google the history, and this is some small impact, but it's important, and there are many things which will contribute. That is what will show us which of them are serious, which are not. I would like to add, give you 2 metaphors. You know how a lizard loses its tail when it's caught. So we, some of the MPs, we want our MPs to have the tail for long, or German Hydra. These lizards which were losing their tails, they then later become like an octopus. And we help those who want to build in their image, not on giving buckwheat to elderly people or talking in sauna to Ivan Ivanovich. Those will be able to prove to the voters that they have done a lot openly and honestly. One more thing, I will tell you, when we will have many reports, we will be able to, we need to look at the previous experience of CHESNO, when the CHESNO made the rating of those who voted for the law of the 15th of January, but then we submitted that before the elections. Now, when we will, before the elections, we will show how many MPs submitted the reports. And they will all start submitting. I am an assistant of Gleb Zagari, the MP, and our team supports this initiative of yours, because that is quite demonstrative. It shows what the MP is doing. It's not just a PR, but it's a real work, about real work. The person I represent, Gleb Zagari, he's working. He's not organizing any PR campaigns. We submitted the report, and I would like the information about such reports to go to addresses which are active, because last time when there was the reporting, we did not receive any invitation. So we would like to know, when will you demonstrate the results for the second quarter? I will answer the first part of the question. Thank you for doing it. But as to email addresses, we were using those which are indicated on the website of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. So you should either use the old address or add another active address. But the channel which is accessible to us is accessible to dozens of thousands of people as well. Technical issues, we will resolve that. Maybe we have some mistakes. Maybe there's some wrong address in the Verkhovna Rada, but I believe that when the initiative becomes more famous, this will be all organized. It takes some time We want to see what could be done with the data. And now in summer, people are not that active. We'll have some results in September. Andriy Krugliashov, Громадське Radio, Public Radio. Why do you trust Google so much that you can go and check everything? And to what extent do you exclude the opportunity to create some project in the internet? Google was a metaphor. You understand that? I understand that you can manipulate Google, Yandex, Pravda.com UA. I don't know. Even some hacker can do that. But if in the past they were paying attention to 1, 2, 3 very famous things, now there are many small things which become important. Google will not have it, but to remove the whole public record from the internet is impossible. You can remove or delete 70%, or you can fill in something new. But it's like with bots in Twitter. There are those bot farms, but it is possible, but it is difficult for them to imitate their structure, looking at the number of followers. If you look at the statistics, like in Google, they in computer science in my university develop these algorithms. You can imitate, but once you have more information, it's more difficult to imitate. Who will win in this arms race between bots and the real information, we do not know. But I would like to believe that the truth will win. Maybe I'm mistaken. We're not setting aside. There's a big problem how to define what is real information. And for us, it is a big challenge because people say, you give us valuable information, but we do not understand. How do we make our choice? Now we have to be like the senators of the forest. We need to provide the criteria which will help not to elect some rotten product, and to give some understanding of what is important in assessing the quality of political product. Now people understand that corruptionist is bad. Those who give away buckwheat are doing it not because they are philanthropes, but they don't know any other reference. They don't know, and what is instead. They very often elect such people. But we would like to provide alternative opportunities based on financial transparency. The person may say how it will communicate to voters, because NDI research shows that more than half of our citizens want to be represented. They don't want to deal with the parties because they don't feel that they represent the interest, that they hear them and communicate with them. That is why Rada Report Challenge created this form, which is easy to disseminate in mass media, which will give a person understanding what questions are to be asked to MPs. And the answers, that's responsibility of our MPs. Any other questions? No. Then thank you for your presentation. Thank you for detailed explanation. Our next briefing is at 11:30. 12:30, Colonel Lysenko.